There's a popular saying that is thrown around: treat others how you want to be treated. But while it has its good intentions, it also assumes that we are a monolithic entity, that each of us wants the same thing. But maybe because of experiences, maybe because of our upbringing, maybe because of expectations that are presented in the media, we all have a very specific idea of how we want to be treated. How we want to be treated changes all the time, depending on the context and the relationship. Sometimes this is because of a power dynamic shift. Sometimes this is part of growing up to be a different person. Just because how we were treated in the past wasn't a problem, doesn't mean it can't be a problem now. If we reflect and understand ourselves well enough, what we can do is identify what we don't want and how there is a misalignment in expectations of the relationship. There are several ways of addressing this, but this video explores one method: confrontation. Confrontation is scary. The idea of articulating your expectations and the possibility of rejection can be quite a blow. Sometimes it puts the relationship on the line. Sometimes it might be taken the wrong way and it's seen as an attack. But here's the thing: if you don't confront someone, then the quality of the relationship will deteriorate. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's not. Maybe there are a lot of factors that make the relationship, and this small part is only a small part. But relationships are a two-way street, and communication is essential to any relationship. If you don't confront them on the small things, then you're probably not confronting them on the big things either. Small things snowball. And by allowing it to snowball, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to others. You're not batting for yourself, and you're not allowing them to correct this misalignment in expectations. You're not giving the relationship a chance. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there's one thing. Being high maintenance is not a bad thing. There is nothing wrong with being high maintenance. In fact, we all are high maintenance, because while there might not be perceived friction in some relationships, all of us require effort to get to know and understand. This is the case even for ourselves. We are a mishmash of our experiences, and we are the result of our culture, our family, our society, our surroundings. We should be proud of who we are. We should be proud of being multifaceted beings with nuance. We should not be afraid to take up space in the world. We should not be afraid of scaring people, the wrong people, away. But there is an art to confrontation. Confront someone as if they have kind intentions at heart. Confront someone as if they have the wrong information. Confront someone as they are your equal. Be kind, tactful, and honest in your confrontation. Be articulate and be specific by giving context and never, ever exaggerate. Being assertive is seen as a great quality. But why is confrontation seen as a bad thing? That is because being assertive is reactive. You are standing up against conflict. You're standing up for your values. But confrontational people are seen as bold, abrasive, unfriendly, and tactless. They can be seen as troublemakers and rebellious because they are bringing up problems that might not have been a problem if it weren't for those confrontational people. But confrontation itself doesn't need to be tactless. Confrontation is about solving issues before they become problems. It's about nipping the issue in the bud. Confrontation doesn't need to be its own conversation. It doesn't have to be brought up as a serious problem. It doesn't have to require all our brain cells to discuss. It doesn't need to happen immediately with emotions at the all-time high. Confrontation can be calm and rational. Sometimes confrontation is about giving context to the other person. Giving context about the problem. It's about being vulnerable about your emotions, taking responsibility for how you feel, and hoping the other person will see your perspective and understand your reasoning. Sometimes confrontation is about teaching others how you would like to be treated and opening up a dialogue. The other person might not always answer you in the way you want or expect, but if there's enough respect for either you or themselves, they will put in effort to show up in ways you would not have predicted. However, just because you confronted someone doesn't mean you will get your desired result. Change takes time. Just because you confronted someone doesn't mean you don't need patience. But that's the point. You're allowing for the relationship to breathe. You're allowing the relationship to grow. Conflict is normal. Conflict is healthy. There's no one in the world with the exact same mindset, mentality, personality, and background. There's bound to be conflict. But that doesn't mean there isn't love and respect. It's not mutually exclusive. Not everyone we meet will be able to treat us in the way that we want, especially not immediately. We might not be able to treat everyone in the way they want. But by confronting someone, we are allowing the opportunity for growth, even if it doesn't turn out the way we want. Sometimes confrontation does mean the end of a relationship, but it means we respected the relationship enough to try and reconcile the differences. Not all differences need to be reconciled, and that's okay. Sometimes people are only there for a season. Confrontation is scary, but without it, relationships that were initially so promising will implode.